Okay, so we'll go ahead and move from organization. I think this part's familiar for facilitators because it is similar to what we have now. Um, and now we're going to get into our basic project components. Where our new platform is different is that you have a lot of options for what you can put in those folders. Currently in the Collaboration Center, we only have discussion forums, which is, we have that option here as well. So you're used to just the discussion forums that will pop up in your folders where you can add discussion threads. Within the new Collaboration Center, there's a lot more options. I will say they give you many options for materials that you can add. Some of them are better suited for online courses where it's more individual focused with grading and submitting assignments to the teacher for review. And we're going to really recommend starting with these 4 materials, and we're going to look at each of these 4, the file link external tool, discussion, page, and media album. So there are other components of this really, powerful platform that we have, like assignments and assessments. I'll just say real quick, if you add assignments or add assessment, they only go to the teacher or the facilitator or the admin of that project. So they're not really great for iron project collaboration where you want all of the students to be able to see each other's work. So we're not going to touch on those activities today. We're going to focus in on these 4. Adding a package, Gladys, I know you asked, that's if you had a course created somewhere else, you could import it in. So that's sort of also an advanced feature. So we're going to focus on these 4 to start, just to really help our community get going with the tools that will help you be successful at the start for your iron project. So we're going to pop over and take a look. I'm going to go back to my test folder.
We do have a couple more questions.
Sure. Happy to answer those now, and then we can look at each of these materials.
Great. So Faye asked, when will Schoology be available for us to update our projects? I don't want to start using the old platform and then switch, so I'd like my project members to know we won't be starting until the switch is made. And also, can old, quote unquote, old folders or content transfer over?
Okay, great questions. So we are going to be looking at timelines, next steps towards the end, but I'll just share now our target for making this available to the community is September 21. And you'll have several weeks as project facilitators to get in here and organize before then. So that's, this training is geared to give you the information you need to, starting next week, if you like, to start getting in and organizing your activities. And so I'll give some guidance at the end about transition and, how we might approach it with the in-between time. And then the second part of that question was transferring. Unfortunately, because they're 2 different platforms and setups, we're not able to move current discussions from the old or the current Collaboration Center to the new center. And so we're going to be looking at a phasing plan whereby you can still view them in the old Collaboration Center while you're getting organized and starting activities in the new platform. So I will jump in more detail in that at the end of our session as we're looking at transition. So let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of these materials that you can add to your project. And I'm going to start first, actually, I'm going to go into an existing folder. I'm going to start first with what is called a page. So you'll see here this icon. It looks like a little paper with a letter, and this is the add page option. So a page is sort of, you can think of it like the instructions to the project that you might create. I'm just going to edit this so you can see what it looks like. So a page is very handy for facilitators. If you have instructions that you want to give to the group for a certain activity, you can set up a page that's to sort of stay at the top and guide people in what they're supposed to do. So in this example, we're in the welcome introduction folder, and I have this page created with the My Name Poem introduction activity. And there's just some text here that I wrote that I copied on how you can do this introduction activity, right? So when students click here, teachers click here, the first thing they see is the instructions. What are we supposed to be doing and collaborating on in this phase of the project? You do have a lot of options here for what goes on a page. You'll see that there's formatting options, bullets, numbers, you can change colors of text and things like that. So lots of options that you're probably used to using in a word processor. You can insert content. So let's say you want your students to view a video. Let me get my video link. Let's say you want them to, you have an instruction note and you want them to view a video before they participate in a discussion. You can put a video link here. I'm just going to click this. Okay, that's this one. Okay, and then import, and I'm going to embed it. So I can put that video link right in my instructions. I can also, let me see here. Again, I can do images. I can put links to other things. I also have a few options down here if I had like a PowerPoint I was attaching that I wanted to attach. I can also record a video of me speaking and put it here on a page. And I'll show you about that in a little bit as we look at the forum discussions. So there's many options of what you can put on your page. And then I want to look at this other box too. There's two options here. If you want it to open in a new page, or if you want to have it display on the current page. So I have it set to display inline. Show you what that looks like. We have our instructions in the video we could watch. And let me just show you our other option here so you see what it looks like. It's going to display on a new page now. So if I'm here and I click on it, it would open to a new page. So depending how long your instructions are, you might decide to do it either inline or on a new page. So I like it sort of like this. Okay, so pages are very handy, again, for sharing those instructions. I'll show you another example. Let's look at part 5 here. So I have my instructions to students, and then I gave them an example of what they could do and what it looks like when students do the alternate reality. So you can post examples there to your instructions, or if you have certain, an instruction page that you made in a PDF, you could attach that. Okay, so I'm going to pause for a second. Any question about the page option?
I'm not seeing any, Jen, but
Thank you.
let us know if you have any.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and delete my video there. Doesn't really go with my activity. All right. So the next activity, so we're going to look at 4. The next activity we're going to look at, or material, is one that you are used to. It is the discussion, add discussion. And so this is the type of material that is most like what we currently have in the Collaboration Center for forum discussions. So we're going to take a look at that. So again, you click it here. I'm going to actually show you one and we'll edit it. Okay, so this will look very similar to what you just saw. Each of these boxes have a similar format. You put a title to what the discussion thread's about. You can also add instructions here if you'd like, and put your instructions at the top of that discussion thread. A lot of options and flexibility there. Similar to what we were looking at before, you could put your links or image media, YouTube, at the top of that discussion thread. And you can also add other attachments or resources, or you could even film a little video and record something, and maybe you're giving an example, start recording and adding it to your discussion thread. So let me hit these other. So what you can add in here, that there's lots of options. I'm going to skip some of this information about grading. Again, with this new platform, there are a lot of features that we can use. We're going to recommend a handful of tools to get you started. And then as our community switches to the platform and we get used to the basics, we'll do more trainings for facilitators in the community about other features we might use. So right now, as you are creating discussions, I would say, don't worry about this information here and grading. We're not recommending that you do that right at the onset of your project because it is a lot at once. So, you know, don't worry about here. But again, you've got the option, if you want to hide it, you can have it be unpublished until you're ready for it. And so that's one that I wanted to point out. So don't worry about these boxes. We're just going to save our discussion. And then let's take an example look at what it looks like when students participate. So
I actually asked you quickly, Jen, when you were looking at that,
Mhm.
it was checked off. The box next to enable grading was checked off. Is that okay to leave that as checked off, or should everyone uncheck that?
You know what, I did it earlier in testing. It automatically, if you see, it will be like this. So if you click it, it gives you options. Your sort of preset looks like this. So when you create a discussion, this is sort of what it will look like. You don't need to worry about anything that's down here. So leave it for now. Again, down the line, we'll help to, you know, look at it as a community and see how you might look and use that. But, you know, I'm recommending you start with a couple things to get going. So this is what it'll look like. Good question, Nicole. Okay. All right, so we've got our discussion thread. I just want to take a quick look at what it looks like. So the facilitator posted the topic, and then the students can collaborate on it. So in this example, we have students posting, and then they actually posted little video responses. So you can look at these dog introductions of my dogs if you wanted to. So you can, let's take a look and see what you can do. So when students respond, they can type a message. They can also insert a link to something. Let's say they were posting a final project and they made a video, they could put a link. They can also add attachments like photos, PDFs, Word documents, PowerPoints. You can attach all sorts of files to this. And again, you can sort of click to preview them within the platform without having to download it. So you have that option for text, for attachments, and then also students can use video recording as well. So this is just an example of back and forth with students. This is familiar. You can like, reply, and to comments. And there's a lot more options for interactions with this type of discussion forum setup in the project. Any questions about how to set a discussion in your project, or about discussion forums? Okay. One thing to note is that as you're organizing your project, I would add a discussion thread for each section, because that's where people are really going to be doing most of the interacting. So if you look in my folders here, I've got a discussion thread open for people to interact at every phase, to post their posts and discussions. One thing that I know some projects that have many participants may do is you might set up different discussion threads for your teams or your groups. So if you have a group of 3 schools that you're matching, and you want to give them a separate thread, you could do that. Or again, you could do it where they have a separate folder. So there's some flexibility there. Let's go ahead and look at a different thread. Again, here's a where we live, share about your community. and we have students commenting back and forth. And this is what we are looking at that video preview, where our students could just embed their photos and connect in that way. So if there are no questions right now, I'm going to take a look at another material type. So we've looked at page, we've looked at discussion. We're going to look at media album now. So this is another option that you have for an activity to add for a project. Let's go ahead to, I think it was in here. Yes. So a media album is pretty simple. It is essentially just a prompt where students come in and add media to the gallery. So if you have a part of your project that is very photo heavy, you can create a media gallery, and then students would come in and just attach their photos and put captions on it. And so that's really great. In this welcome activity, it says to share a photo that represents who you are. It's a nice way to say, to share a little bit about you without having to share a picture of you, which I know many teachers and students don't really like to do. So in this way, it's nice. You can just sort of click through images in the gallery, and students can still add captions and responses to share what that photo is about. And so if you're setting this up, it's pretty easy to add a media album. You just put a title and description, and then comments are enabled. So pretty simple, title, description, and then we can look at this here. Oops. Yeah, so title, description, and then people can start adding media right into that album. Okay. Cole, any questions popping up?
No, just a comment, which was really, really nice. Excellent platform with the necessary tools to share and collaborate with our projects. I love it. That was from Paula. And Domingo says, this is the best option for learning evidence.
Yeah, we're really excited about these different ways to help, for project facilitators to help you easily organize things, but then for students to really have more interaction. And just a quick note, with all of these pages, discussions, media galleries, it's pretty easy for you to reorganize things. It's all very drag and drop for facilitators. And so whether you're within a folder or you're over here and you're moving entire activities, so I love that. It's very easy to move things around. And then, another benefit is I'll just, when it's time to go from one project cycle to the next, you can actually move all of your materials that you created to the next section of the course or the project. So when we're transitioning from project year to project year cycle, you as facilitators will just be able to copy, paste, and edit your activities. So that's going to be really great.
Jen, there were a couple more questions
Mhm.
from Mary Jo. In the media album, are the pictures labeled by student name or generic?
So that's a great question. In the media album, so let's take a look. So I'm gonna not follow instructions. I'm attaching a picture of myself. So students can add media. Oops. You saw I just had that prompt and I ignored it, but it prompts you to add a caption. And so that way, this is my photo. That way it will, I would recommend, if you're doing a media album, that you have students write a caption with their photo to really describe what it's about. Otherwise, if you have images without context, without captions by students, it's hard to really, follow why they shared what they wanted to share. And so in that way, I can see who's adding.
Yeah,
and you can see on the side here who it's added by, even if they didn't put a caption. So yeah.
Yeah, Mary Jo just also said, not sure if that makes sense, wondering if pictures were assigned to students. But I guess what you just said, I think clarifies that.
Yeah, I mean, so it will say who posted it. You know, similar, there's as facilitators, we'll try to put instructions to things. Again, this is one type of activity. You know, it doesn't make sense for every project to do a media gallery. Some projects like One Day in the Life, where it's very photo heavy and you're sharing photography, it might make more sense. But you can also stick to discussion and having people insert images or video there if that makes more sense. So you as a facilitator can control what types of activities there are in the project. So gallery is an option. If it doesn't make sense for your project, then you can, you know, use the discussion feature. So great point. And this is just an example of how it's all a bit customizable for you and what you want to set up.
I am. Question from Gladys. Can we receive notifications in our emails from the discussions?
Yes, and we're not actually going to touch it on that during this session because we're really going to focus on the project setup here for you. So we will be doing tours in the next 2 weeks for all teachers. And one of the topics will be notifications, how to set them up, how to control what goes to your email or what just is at this little bell when you log in. But yes, there are notifications and we'll be diving into that in sort of our overall teacher tour and preview.
Great. And one more comment from Faye. I know the staff has been working hard for a long time to make this happen. This platform will be more user-friendly and efficient in providing meaningful collaboration. This will be a big year for Iron.
It is going to be a big year. Thank you, Faye, for that note. You know, it's going to be a big change. And so with big changes, I think with this change, there is going to be a lot of new and exciting, but there's also going to be some things that are different. And so our team's here to help in the support, you know, for you project facilitators and how to get things set and organized. And we know there's going to be some things that aren't a big change for the community. But I feel pretty good that it's going to be a lot of positive change and a lot of new options and ease and use that'll really help students be more active and engaged in the projects and connecting with each other online. So thanks for that.